And welcome back, everyone, to episode 66 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, alongside my co-host for today, Chase, and we are joined by special guest Jack Dobbins of the Playoff Push Podcast. And, he's been doing a lot of stuff like us. He's been interviewing some really cool people, so go check him out. We're going to link all of his stuff down below and wherever else we need to. And, Jack, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, totally, man. It's an honor.
Yeah, so... as I said, Chase is also going to be with us today. We're going to be doing a lot of baseball. As you can see, we have similar ideas going on of who we like to represent. And Jack was lucky enough this year to be credentialed on the field pregame for some Yankee spring training down in Tampa, which probably one of the coolest experiences I would think of your life. So just if you want to talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get into like some specific questions about things you saw down there.
It was crazy, dude. So I was originally going down to Florida to tour Miami, and I ended up doing that, after the game. But I was like, why not try to cover Yankees Rays in Port Charlotte? And so, it took a long time, took like months, but I finally got the credential. And, I went down there and, went to the locker room, got to interview like Shane McClanahan, Chandler Simpson, Brandon Lau, like a ton of cool guys. And then, went around onto the field, got to interview Dominguez and Ben Rice and Oswaldo Cabrera, and then interviewed Will Warren after he came off the mound from his start. It was just a great experience, being able to talk to these guys in the realm where they do their stuff and stay on the field for batting practice and just get to chat it up with other people who love doing the same stuff I do. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I missed you by a day down there in Port Charlotte. I went to the Sunday split squad game right after that.
Brutal.
Yeah, but that honestly, I'm hoping I can do that soon. I've been going to spring training as a fan for 3 years in a row now. I've almost hit every stadium down there. So trying to hopefully take the next step next year. So that's
funny
really
enough.
cool.
There's actually an article written about me when I went to spring training in 2018.
Whoa!
Look at this. Look, I'm showing on the screen. There was me in 2018 in the Sarasota Herald Tribune talking about like Judge and Stanton.
That was a good year for them. That was the
year we traded for him. That was the year we traded for Stanton.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
I look back at it all the time. I'm like, wow, that's actually hilarious.
But it's crazy how much the team has changed since like I was down there. The first year of IKF was making his spring training.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Volpe and Wells came in the ninth inning together, and they played together. And I met them. I think they signed like a roster that I had.
That's neat.
I just have a piece of paper, and they changed their autographs like over the years. So I have like a piece of paper with like their original like minor league like autographs and stuff.
That's
so, like,
pretty sick.
I just love the experience of spring training. And Chase, I don't know if you've been down, but if you ever get a chance to go,
I've been down once.
Yeah.
Like, definitely do it.
Yeah, it's a really awesome experience. So I had a lot of fun doing that this year, and especially at Steinbrenner.
It's a great stadium. It's really great.
The batting practice like up close on the side field, it was like Judge, Belly, everyone came out. And it was just really, really cool experience. So.
Something cool about the way I did it when I went down to cover it was like I had a media pass for the entire day. So I was like, walking around and just happened to run into Carson Williams, the Rays' number 1 prospect and number 9 overall prospect. And I was just like, hey, Carson, what's up, boy? And he was like, hey, nothing. How you doing?
That's awesome. That's really cool. And the interesting thing I know about Port Charlotte is it's just all open. Like even fans can go wander.
Oh, it's amazing. I love the stadium. When I saw it, I was like, wow, this is actually really neat. They had like, donuts for us in the press box.
Yeah. I think it's not necessarily the best facilities in spring training, but from like a fan media perspective, I think
it's so easy just to get around.
It's easy. And, my grandparents have a house 10 minutes from there. So that's
I feel like I've been to I think it's the Nationals and Astros place at Cacti Park, which Travis Scott now owns, funny enough. But that place is like a maze.
Oh,
like the first time I was there, I was like, where am I going?
I was looking at tickets to go to that side this year because I actually I visited my other co-host in Miami for a day when I was there. But
that's cool. That's great.
But I was looking at it and it's like they have a like field box thing with like folding chairs next to the dugout as like ticket options that's like blocked off, and I'm just like, all right, this is definitely
kind of funny though.
Yeah, this is definitely like a minor league ballpark that's going on. But, we'll talk more about Steinbrenner kind of towards the end of this episode because I want to talk to you about the Rays facilities and stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%.
When we get a chance. But let's jump right into what you saw with some of your interviews and stuff. And you mentioned you got to talk to Jason Dominguez specifically, and of course he had a new role. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been a big, let's say, hater of Jason Dominguez in spring training and his defensive abilities and kind of how he's going to adjust into the hitter that the Yankees need him to be. And I just was kind of wondering what you noticed from him down there, what he mentioned to you when you talked to him, and just what are you thinking for Jason Dominguez for the rest of the season?
When it comes to Dominguez, we know the talent's there. I mean, what he was not called the young Mickey Mantle for nothing when he was first getting, moved up. But with Dominguez, you have seen the defensive struggles, especially in spring training. I haven't really seen many, mess ups in the regular season, but in spring training, it was definitely a concern. But when I talked to him, the main thing I took from it is he seems as motivated as I've ever seen anyone. I was talking about how he, shares the outfield with two former MVPs along with the diamond with Paul Goldschmidt for a third. And he was just saying that he really feels motivated to be able to, get to the level that those guys are at and really push himself to be the best ball player he can be. And keep in mind, this kid is still one of the youngest players in the entirety of Major League Baseball. He has time to make this up. You know who else is an awful fielder? Juan Soto. And he sure got $700 million. So I think that the defensive struggles aren't really that big of an issue because even if he can fix them, we know the hitting potential will jump eventually. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, I think for Jason Dominguez, I think a lot of his trouble comes with how sure he is when he's making a play. His tracking is nothing to really. It's just not great. We saw the one, not even like mess up, just annoying play that I've seen so far this season. Is there's a line drive to him? I think during the first series. Of course, that series didn't really matter too much if he made a little mess up in the field, but. There's a line drive right to him, and I think it was like a 95% catch probability from whatever statistics they're getting that from. And he just didn't make the catch, and he
probably AWS. I think AWS does the probabilities.
And he just took it against his chest, and then he bobbled it again and whatever, and like it ended up being a double. And it's just kind of annoying because I think most left fielders in the league would make that, as is apparent by the fact that there's a 95% catch probability, and he just kind of let it fall in front of him. And it's nothing to be mad about. He got the ball in, whatever. We were up by like 8 runs at that point. But I would just like to see Dominguez be a little more confident in the field. And then with the hitting side, he just needs to get hot, really. We saw when he first got called up, of course, he had his first major league home run in his first at-bat, all that against Houston, blah, 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 blah. And then he
off
got
of
injured.
Justin Verlander, too. Let's not look over that.
Off of Verlander. And then the injury just kind of sidelined him for a bit. So I am really, really hoping that he'll be back into kind of his prime form soon. I watched him a lot at Somerset. I watched him kind of come up through the system. And listen, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He just needs to figure some things out.
He's still 22. He has all the time in the world to, think about it. He's not a free agent until 2031. We have 6 years of this kid. It's like, dude, if you have the time to figure it out as a Yankee and then you get your deal re-signed after the 2031 season, but I'm going to be out of college by the time this dude's contract is over. So he has a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Jason, I think he's going to be the future for us. Like, he has to be. Switch hitting is going to be helpful for us in the long run. And so.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I think Dominguez, I would not be worried as of now, and I wouldn't even be worried next year. I think if we get into 2027 and there is still concern, that's when we push the red button.
100% agree with that. 100%. And it's people were already talking about trading him, using him as part of something, and that's just
no. You can't do that. You can't.
Same for all the trades that we were saying we were gonna get, like Alcantara for Warren and Lombard and stuff. Like, why would you do that?
I don't know. Well, to be fair, the Yankees do have the worst starting pitcher ERA in the league so far this year. But the thing I have with Sandy is that he won the Cy Young. That's incredible. Great job winning it in 2022. The issue was then in 2023 he pitched well again. And then he comes into this year, and he's still pitching well.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this guy is maybe the only player on the Marlins roster that I think is still a good baseball player. And I know that sounds harsh,
Yeah.
but like I looked at their opening day lineup and I went, wow, I really don't think I could name a single one of these position players. So the Marlins, they need to rack up on these prospects. They need to build up this team. I don't see a reason why you don't trade for Alcantara, but I don't think you can move Lombard is my problem.
That was my issue with it as well, yeah. I don't know.
When it comes to the guys, I think Spencer Jones is, of the three, of Dominguez, Jones, and Lombard, I think Jones is the one that you would move if you're going to make a move of any of them.
Yeah, I mean, I have a special connection with Jones. Like, it's kind of cut off there, but I have a signed like jersey.
Oh, he's a great dude, and I hope I pray we keep him. But I'm just saying, statistically,
right.
That's what I would do.
I've just felt uneasy about, like, I go to a lot of like minor league games, as you could probably tell, and I just like I have more of a, I guess, connection with these guys, and it just sucks.
I'm also not a GM. I will say this now. Yes, I am not. Yes. I am not Brian Cashman. I do not call the shots. Yeah. I am just saying this as a fan who is purely looking at numbers, who has never watched Spencer Jones play live. That is I have to preface that.
Yeah, and I mean, watching Spencer Jones, strikeouts, we know that that's an issue. Everyone in Yankeesville knows that's an issue.
But hey, so is Judge coming up. He had a big strikeout issue coming up, and now look at him. He's one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Exactly.
I mean, can he develop into a Judge? I don't know. He has the frame to do it. Yeah. But I mean, we still have to see. He's young too. The development is huge for these Yankees minor leaguers.
Yeah. Continuing on with spring training, let's talk about some Max Fried and Cody Bellinger. Their arrivals were definitely well felt in Tampa, and both had very hot springs, and Fried has definitely carried that into the regular season, especially with the start a couple days ago. And Bellinger started off hot, struggling a bit as of late, especially with the average. But yeah, just plans for them in the future, just what you saw pretty early on.
So Fried, I mean, when we signed Fried, I was over the moon. I was like, I had the issue when we signed Rodon that, like, his numbers were good in San Fran, and they were really rough to start his White Sox tenure. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that eventually when he goes from the more pitching-dominated National League into the more offense-dominated American League, there was going to be a little bit of a problem there. I saw this Rodon deal. I was happy because I was, recency bias with the All-Star appearance. But deep down, I knew that this had potential to go bad, and it did. Whereas Fried, I mean, this guy, I believe if you look at the stats, lowest ERA since 2020, it's Fried. Yeah. Since 21, Fried. Since 22, it's also Fried. So I know that he has the potential to shut hitters down. And what is he doing so far this year? He's doing that pretty well. So, I mean, when we signed Fried, I knew it was going to be a good move. And it just depends for Fried if he can stay healthy, which I totally think he can. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to Bellinger, I mean, I loved Bellinger actually this year. I told all my friends, slam Bellinger over 30 homers. Because if you overlay his metrics from last year with Yankee Stadium, his homer total basically multiplies by 1.5, just based from the short porch alone.
Insane.
But of course, he's had I think it was, the chicken wing fight over the last few days. And I think it was a back injury before that. So he's been, kind of missing for a little bit. But I still think Bellinger, if there's ever a moment where he's going to try to get back to his MVP form, it's going to be this year in the short porch in Yankee Stadium, playing for his dad's old squad. For both these moves, I love them and I continue to love them. And I think they will really help come playoffs.
Yeah, the chicken wing fight. I mean, that's the most Yankees thing I've ever heard. Like,
it's pretty funny.
Would not happen to any other team in baseball.
Well, no, because do you remember how Dustin May got hurt last year for LA? He was eating a salad and it cut his esophagus.
I don't even know, man. But yeah, I think Bellinger, he's been dealing with some issues over the past 2 series now. And we don't even need to talk about last night. Really, that was just atrocious.
Last night was awful. We don't talk about last night.
Yeah, and we'll get
11 walks. 11 walks.
Yeah, I mean, my 0-6 baseball team isn't even giving up 11 walks in a game. So But yeah, we'll talk about Stroman in a second.
Please don't.
we'll
We
talk
have
about him.
to. We
We'll
kind of
talk
have
about
to.
him with a wider range of
Yeah, we
issues
have
we're
to.
seeing. Ben Rice, last guy in your preseason scouting report. You know, I was talking about him since the start of spring training. His exit velo, that's one of the biggest things that I noticed.
100%.
It skyrocketed. Huge. And I chatted with him for a couple minutes at Port Charlotte as well when he came over, and he was nice enough to sign a card for me. And he's just a great guy. I like Ben Rice.
Yeah.
And he was batting second yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, yay, good for him, right?
Yeah. But just for Ben Rice, it's basically just going to be the same question as the other two guys. What are you seeing for the future? How long is he going to be in that position? Just what do you think?
So the big thing I scouted for Rice was I saw a report that he gained around 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in this offseason. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. How does one do that? And so, I was, on the field and I interviewed him. I was like, how do you think this muscle is going to improve your game? And he was like, the exit velocity is going to tick. And hopefully if I can continue to get a good launch angle, we can really do some more damage on offense. And that sure seems to be what it is. I mean, his numbers this year compared to, maybe some of the other guys are looking pretty good. He's hitting 289, OPS over 1, 3 homers. And he's really looking. We saw the flashes last year with this 3-homer game, but this year it seems like he's really putting it all together. And I'm ignoring last night when he went 0 for 2 because everyone went 0 for 2. So I'm ignoring that. But he overall has been playing so well, and I really think that he could take this offense to the next level on a platoon with Goldschmidt.
Oh, I 100% agree. And I think Goldschmidt, like, for being honest, everyone says the last couple of years how many games he's played. He's getting older. He needs to be splitting time with Rice. That's just not even
the crazy thing is, though, Rice was a catcher.
Right.
So technically speaking, he could platoon at both first and catcher to give Wells some off days to keep, his knees all right.
Yeah, and, well, hopefully we'll see Escara step into that
role.
Oh,
yeah, Escara too.
A little more.
Yes,
but
yes.
Yeah.
Catcher time.
I think, and I was talking about this last week with another guest I had, that the Yankees catching depth just going all the way down through the system, especially like 2 years ago, was kind of crazy for guys like Escara and even Wells, who didn't even know if they were going to have a chance to get up. Because it went like Trevino, Higashioka, Wells, Escara, Rice, Narvaez. Rodriguez is playing in Double-A right now, I think, and then Alex Jackson is here now, and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of crazy how the catching has worked out for the Yankees, going all the way back. I mean, what was it? Austin Romine and Gary Sanchez way back in the day.
Romine,
and then
the GOAT,
came up. Like the past 10 years of Yankees catching has been
pretty strong.
Pretty fun to watch. So I'm excited with what's going on with Escar and Wells, and I do want to see Rice behind the dish. I think he got one appearance last year in his stint when he was up, and he looked decent. I forget, we were either up by 10 or down by 20. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, because as much as I love Wells, catchers need their rest more than probably any other position besides pitchers, just because it takes such a big toll on your knees. Right. So I think Rice and Escar platooning would be huge.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm excited to see what happens with all those guys this year, especially Ben Rice. I just love him, just the way he plays.
He's such a fun guy.
Yeah,
he's a fun guy to talk to.
Let's talk about the start of the MLB season. Don't worry, anyone out there who doesn't like the Yankees will kind of move away from them after a couple questions here. But I mean, I know it's been over talked about. I know everyone's kind of already given their input, but we got to talk about torpedo bats, right?
Oh yeah, we have to.
And I think especially now that Volpe is, I mean, he's not settling down, but he's not having the same type of games that he had in those first couple series, and same for Bellinger, of course, and Goldschmidt and whoever else might be using them across the league.
I think Wells used it too.
Wells did use it. And by the way, the fact that there's that many people in our starting lineup that were consistently enough getting jammed last season that we need to make them a new bat, it's probably an issue.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
But but just, I don't know, just your overall thoughts. I'm sure what you're going to say is that you like them, just because you're a Yankees fan, but just what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, actually, when it comes to torpedo bats, my thoughts are very different because, everyone else probably thinks, oh, it's just like a strict upgrade to, the bats that we're used to, but I don't really know about it. Because with the torpedo, you're moving some of the weight from the outside and moving it inside. So what I think is that, it helps a lot with the barrel. And that's undeniable because it makes the barrel bigger and therefore more energy transfer and therefore the ball go far. But when it comes to, being early on a swing, it puts less weight at the end of the bat. So it's so much easier for it to hit the knob of the bat or whatever it's called, whatever the end of the bat's called, and then just spin right over the first base and you're done. Because
right.
Back with the old bats, if you got a good enough spot, you could jam it right over the first baseman and be totally fine. But with less energy transfer there, I think it's definitely a positive, but it's not a strict upgrade, as there are situations where I think a regular bat would be more beneficial, like those situations where you hit the end of the bat.
Yeah, I think, and I mean, that was a wonderful scientific description there.
Great analysis, Tony.
I was gonna say that I could have done this for free for the Yankees if they wanted. Like, I don't know, really. Oh, I wonder if there's more wood where they like to hit the ball more, if the ball will go farther.
We definitely needed an MIT guy for that.
That's a great question. By the way, all the interviews of the MIT guy, he's working for like the Marlins now. Like, how did that?
I don't even know. I haven't seen a single interview. I don't even know the guy's name. I just know he went to MIT.
Yeah. I've been seeing like on all like the Instagram reels and stuff. It's just like these random interviews of him in like Lone Depot Park with a Marlins hat on. So I'm not really sure what's going on there.
Jeter got him.
Yeah, Jeter got him. Although Jeter's done with the Marlins, no?
No, I know.
Yeah,
I actually forgot when I said that. So
yeah, yeah. I think I agree with you. I think that we're starting to see the downsides of it, especially with a larger sample size. Now that we're 2 weeks or whatever into the season, which is crazy, by the way.
Yeah,
I feel like I haven't watched as many games as I had, but maybe that's just because I'm raging at them and turning them off in like the fifth inning. But, I think that the torpedo bats are here to stay. And the one other question I want to ask you: what's going on with the Stanton thing with the torpedo bats? Because they did explicitly say that his injury came as a result of a new bat he was using, but then last week he was like, guys, this is not the story you're looking for. So what do you think is the real truth about Stanton and the bats?
I'll be real. I have no idea. I'm convinced this guy could get injured by, just sitting down. Like, at this point, whenever I see Stanton injured, it's just like, whatever, okay, great. Because, I really don't even want to think about, I don't want to put brain power into thinking about how it happened. I'm just like, it happened, okay. So, is it possible that, because his swing is so violent, that is there a potential for him to, swing something out of place? 110%. And with the bat being more weighted towards the inside, it's definitely possible with, of course, the bat going the way he's going more. Yeah, with him, I have no idea. Quite honestly, I have no clue.
Yeah, and Chase, some of the Philly guys, I mean, you're repping the Yankees right now, and we appreciate you for that.
One-time thing.
Yeah, we appreciate you for that. But, some of the Philly guys are using it too, and we're starting to see it definitely spread more around the league. So,
yeah.
I mean, do you think that this is really going to, keep its form around Major League Baseball or stick with the Yankees?
I think it's definitely going to expand out to other teams because once the Yankees used it, they started hitting, everybody's going to see, oh, you can hit crazy home runs with this. Everybody's got to use it. But at the end of the day, still got to hit the ball. Still got to get it on the spot. So people can use a normal bat. People can use a torpedo bat. You still got to hit the ball. And this is what people want to see. People want to see more home runs. People want to get baseball exciting again. So this torpedo bat's going to be a good thing for the future of the league, I think.
Yeah, and the funny thing, and the thing that's, I guess, most indicative about, the truth of the torpedo bats is Bryce Harper isn't using one. Aaron Judge isn't using one. Shohei Ohtani isn't using one. Mookie Betts isn't using one. If you're looking at these guys, you're like, oh, wait, they actually know how to barrel a ball correctly.
Yeah, the thing is, if it's working, if it's worked for the last 5 years of career, why change it?
Right.
The only reason you use the torpedo bat is if you're trying to make an adjustment in a hope to better your offense.
Yeah, and I'm completely forgetting, maybe it was Carlos Correa, but I could be wrong. There's someone that used it for 2 at-bats, struck out twice, and then was done with it. Or maybe, Max Muncy, maybe? I'm like...
Max Muncy.
No, it was Max Muncy, the old Max Muncy. Now that we have to differentiate that, but that's I think that's just an interesting situation, and I think the guys who are using it are going to stay using it for now. And then we'll obviously see. I think the new wave is going to be like engineering is going to take kind of a new form in the next couple seasons.
Ooh.
So I'm sure we'll see some crazy like wiffle ball looking thing in a couple years, or like blitzball bat is going to be coming
Just a
soon.
bright yellow bat that's hollow.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I feel like that's something that someone in baseball would figure out how to do by now.
So
but
the air in the middle of the bat acts as a cork.
yeah, yeah, they'll start taping the barrel. They got to get the more weight on it.
Hey, Sammy Sosa, get back in this league.
Yeah. Yeah, but speaking of Aaron Judge, I mean, we just got to talk about him. He's 6 home runs. I mean, hasn't hit one since joining the coldness of Detroit. Batting average still up, which I think is the most important thing for him. I don't think hitting bombs every at bat's the issue. I think now for him to really be the most productive hitter he can be, it's just getting on base, which he certainly did with 4 walks in one game against the Brewers because that was a little.
Yeah.
But just Aaron Judge. What do you think he's going to end up with this season? MVP season again, or is it too early to really decide?
The thing about Judge is that, of course, he's a multi-time MVP. Again, should have won in 2017. I will never go off that hill. But with Aaron Judge, I mean, last year, was it last year? I think it was last year.
Yeah.
He started off really slow.
Yeah, April.
For like the first month and a half. And then he heated up, and he still hit so many homers. And so now I think this year that he's starting off hot and slowly cooling down, I still think he can heat right back up.
Yeah.
Because we know who Aaron Judge is. We know he's not like it's only the homers he's cutting on. As you said, batting average is staying up. He's hitting 347 with 20 RBI through 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 20 RBI. It's like he has an OPS over 1.2, 38 total bases, good for third in the league. Again, first in RBI, first in homers, second in OPS. And, again, 347 average. He's stolen 2 bags. He has 3 doubles. I mean, I'm not concerned for Judge at all. The homers will come. We know they'll come. It's just a matter of can he keep getting on base and keep driving in these runners, because he's sure doing a good job of it.
Oh, yeah. And I think he's been the best at it around the league. No question. Besides that one random athletics guy that somehow has 6 home runs as well.
What's funny, though? You know who the statistical best hitter in the league this year is?
Oh, God, who?
Alonso.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. All right. I mean, of course, I haven't really been.
He's hitting 378 with a 1.26.
Oh, my God. 18 RBIs on 17 hits. What are the Mets doing?
I don't know. It's like, because Soto has 1 homer and 4 RBI, and then Alonso's playing one of the best offensive seasons we've seen in a while so far.
Jesus.
And casually went 3 for 3 last night.
And Lindor had 1 hit in his entire first series as well.
Yeah, I mean, no, Alonso's playing great. And then Kyle Tucker is also having a year where you can't sleep on him.
Yeah. I mean, I saw him. I was watching because the Yankees played during the Yankees were doing their thing. Their game was over by like 9 or whatever. But I was watching the Cubs-Dodgers game, of course, like the Dodgers. Motherfucker. But
there's something.
There was I forget who hit it, but he rounded first because Kyle Tucker went all the way to third. And now this guy's just stuck in probably the worst rundown I've ever seen from like a World Series winning team. But Tucker is just stuck at third, and he's standing there. This guy just got into a rundown for you to try to go score a run, and you're just standing there at third.
Did he really?
Yeah, I don't know what
That's actually kind of funny. I kind of like that.
I was so confused what was happening because
run.
There's no way Mookie Betts is gonna Mookie Betts. I feel like is too focused to just give up on a rundown that's happening right in front of him to go nab a guy at home, and I just don't think. Bro, just go home. You were down by 3 already because like
you gotta at least get 1 off the board.
No, Tommy Edman hit basically the same bomb he hit against the Mets last year in the ALCS. So fun stuff for over in Dodgersville.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. 2 more for the Yankees here. Injuries. What is going on? This has been probably the worst 3 seasons of Yankees baseball for injuries I've seen in a long time. Some of them are unlucky. Some of them are Aaron Judge running through a fence. Some of them are Giancarlo Stanton. Well, he's always hurt, but him potentially using his new bat wrong. Some of them are like you can name all the other mistakes, like Cody Bellinger eating bad chicken wings. Who knows?
You know what's funny? As bad as our injuries are, the Dodgers are worse.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, Freddie Freeman barely played in his own bobblehead night last night. So,
yeah, I mean, like, we do have so many bad ones. Like, you got Schmidt, who should be coming back soon. We can pray.
His rehab the other day was very good.
We got Cole out, Lysiga out, Stanton out, Heel out. LeMahieu can stay out. I think he should stay over there. I think Jake Cousins is also out.
Efros might be making his way back.
Efros has pitched 2 games since we traded for him in the same year we traded for Frankie Montas.
And he also only pitched 2 games for us.
2 games.
Yeah,
since we traded for him in 2022.
Yeah, and Frankie also only pitched 2 games for us, so that's pretty indicative.
Yeah. But it's Efros is I talked about him with Fireside about how he was I don't even know what happened when we got him, because it was he one of the best relievers in the league and he's played 2 whole games. But
he got second AAA last year, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean all the other in Cole. Crazy thing is Cole is at a point where this Tommy John legitimately might start the downfall.
Yeah.
Because if you get Tommy John at 26 or 27, it's so much easier to recover than when you're 34, 35.
Wait, did Efros have it? Is that why he was out for?
He's probably had it twice.
He had a crazy surgery.
I'm actually going to look it up now. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Scott Efros injury history.
Yeah, let's take a look at this.
Oh my goodness. Holy cow.
What do we got?
So missed all of the 2023 season recovering from Tommy John.
Okay.
Hamstring injury, leg injury, hamstring strain. Holy goodness. He's had 4 hamstring strains.
What does he have right now?
I don't know. I think
Grade
another
2.
hamstring strain.
Grade 2 hamstring strain. Yep.
Hamstring.
Oh, I also forgot about this. Sorry. On February 25th, he threw 1 pitch in a spring training.
Yeah, he threw 1 pitch and went down.
So with a hamstring strain.
Yep. It's the Yankees.
It's dude. I had a hamstring strain one time, and it was I was out of business for a week, and then I was all back to normal activities.
This is a genuine question that I've started to have over the past couple of years. Is it actually a problem with the Yankees training staff or something?
Yeah,
because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know how, but it's ridiculous. It really is. Because sometimes teams have 1 year where they're a injury plague, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But the Yankees, it's every single year. Half the team gets hurt.
I think the biggest thing is Anthony Rizzo not noticing that he has a concussion after
that was awful.
After going, the Yankees are supposed to have access to the best doctors in the world in New York City, right?
I don't know, but I think that could be a suable offense. I don't know, but intentionally not, but not seeing that when you're a professional ball player and putting him at further risk, I think is a total problem.
I love Rizzo. You can see.
Rizzo's one of those guys where I'll always love him. But especially that 2016 Cubs team is forever in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I don't know if you saw, but they were going to put up there's a new statue going up outside Wrigley. I hope it's him holding the ball up after he
the one of him and Bryant.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And he deserves to he needs to go work at the Cubs or coach for the Cubs or something.
Yes, both Bryant and Rizzo are Cubs Hall of Famers, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. And then along with injuries, Marcus Stroman, what did he say? Knee, calf, I think it was knee. But who knows? I
quote,
stopped.
I am a starter. Sorry, no.
No, wipe your social media midway through spring training.
Dude, it's funny because like this entire offseason, he was like, "Yeah, I'm coming with a different motive this year," and then he gets shelled every single time he pitches to begin the year.
I mean, I don't know what to do because now definitely no one is trading for this guy.
He was a beast in Toronto. That's the problem. He was so good, and then just we took a chance and it didn't work at all.
Yeah. Bad. And like I said, no one wants to trade for him. I think no one was going to trade for him anyway because the Yankees were so desperate in spring. They're like, we need to get rid of this guy, and they were very public about getting rid of him. Everyone,
and we didn't, and now he's honestly him getting demolished might be intentional.
I was on the show franchise yesterday. He was my fourth highest paid guy, and he was in AAA, and I traded him for a 50 overall D rated guy from like the Orioles or something. That's literally the only trade I could get. I tried to trade him for like an MLB reliever, and I could not get anything.
That's crazy.
Which is funny when even the show knows that he's not a major league.
Yeah, like I'm fairly certain the dude was an all-star. Like I swear he was in like 2018
with the Cubs.
No, I think it was the Jays.
With the Jays,
I think 2019, 2018.
2019 when he was with Toronto.
And then he was his last year in Chicago. I think.
Yes, last year in Chicago. Yep.
And I think he was also a Cy Young finalist somewhere in there. I don't know. It was probably a few years before the All-Star appearance because he didn't make the team and he had a crazy second half.
I can find out. He was 8th in Cy Young voting that first first Toronto year that he got the All-Star.
Yeah, because he was, he was all right the first half, but he was great the second half, and that's
exactly.
What
happened. Yeah. All right. We'll stop with the Yankees for now.
People are probably like, we want anything else.
Thank you everyone for bearing through that. But we'll go right over to the Dodgers.
Oh yay! My favorite.
Can the Dodgers be stopped? That is the big question.
No.
Okay.
No.
There you go.
Every team can have their cold streaks. No team can still have the highest payroll despite deferring their biggest stars contracts 10 years into the future. They still have the highest payroll. There's no way to beat them. I'm sorry. Like you could beat them in the regular season. Once we get to the playoffs, if they sweep the entire playoffs, I would not be stunned in the slightest at all.
Mm-hmm. And well, we know,
especially when their guys get healthy. Oh my God, it's over.
But we know how bad they were in the playoffs, like for the last 10 years, choking series after series against not that great teams.
Yeah, especially but did they have Ohtani and Betts and everyone else?
No. Especially Clayton Kershaw, by the way.
They did have Kershaw, but now he's not Clayton Kershaw. But
and his playoff. If you look up his playoff stats, they're not it.
Also, by the way, you know how we mentioned earlier, Alonso 1, Judge 2, Tucker 3 in terms of hitting production.
The next 5 are the Dodgers?
Hernandez is 4.
Really?
And Tommy Edman, I think, is number 8.
Wow. And he was he barely played the first series because he was sick, I think.
Yeah, Teoscar, and then I think after Teoscar, it's Seiya Suzuki, I think.
Okay. Right on. Yeah, Dodgers, I think, bro, I would love to say that there's something wrong with this team, like their bullpen. No, they've like
but there's not. Like when they're healthy, they are the best team in baseball, and there's no arguing it.
I guess we're just gonna need to shell them when
we just have to pray.
Yeah, pray at this point. I don't know. And we're going out there for our regular season series this year, right? Because they came to us last year.
Maybe, I don't know. That would be awful.
All right, well, let's move across town from the Dodgers.
Let's get away from the Dodgers, please.
The Angels are 8-4. They lost to the Chicago White Sox on opening day. And that, I think, scared a lot of people. I had the Angels going to the playoffs, by the way, so you know.
Yeah, very hot start for them.
8-4 though, and we're seeing like they made some pretty good signings this offseason. I was proud of them for what they did. I don't know, just is this going to keep up for the Los Angeles Angels? Are they going to make a wild card even?
As much as I want to say yes, I do not know if I'm willing to bank on the Angels, especially because they got absolutely murdered by Houston last night. Like it was not even close. To be fair, they started a guy that I'd never heard of in my entire life. But I mean, like, I think the Angels are a better team than they have been for quite a while. I still don't think it's good enough. Because when it comes to the end of the season, they're going to be relying on like Jorge Soler and Luis Rengifo, and I just don't think you can. I don't think you can do that in 2025. I think they have 3 guys in the lineup that I would rely on for now. It's Trout, O'Hoppe, and Paris. I would not rely on anyone else in the lineup.
Yeah, Trout right now has looked good.
Yeah. He's hitting 208. But, he still has, the 6 homers, and he's 16th in total bases. He's not playing bad. If
you still have Trout as, like, your best hitter, I think that's pretty good compared to the last couple of years.
Yeah. Hoppe's playing very well, though.
Yeah. Yusei Kikuchi, Nicky Lopez came in. All those guys, they've looked good.
Kikuchi hasn't looked that good.
Well, it's better than the pitching staff that they've had. So.
Probably. And they still employ Tim Anderson. So
Marlins minor league to Angels minor league. What a career path.
Jeez. I mean, like, yeah, we have to say that he's one of the biggest fall offs in MLB history, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Has to be.
I don't know which team did this to him. Probably the White Sox, if we're being honest.
Ramirez cracked him and it was over. Like he was.
You could actually compare his stats from before and after that, and there is.
It's real. It's like noticeable.
Yeah.
But these Angels employ so many like guys that I thought were retired like 2 years ago. They have Kyle Hendricks, Tim Anderson.
Whoa.
They have Yoan Moncada, Ian Anderson, who was good for the Braves at one time.
Kevin Pillar.
Travis d'Arnaud.
Griffin.
Do they have Pillar? They have JD Davis now, I think.
That's very nice.
Yeah, it's like there's so many guys who like I feel like I haven't heard their name in forever.
They have Jorge Soler as well now.
Yeah, they have Soler, and they've Kenley Jansen, who's actually pitching well.
Wait,
he hasn't allowed to run yet.
Griffin Canning's on the Mets now?
He's been gone for a minute, I think.
No, but that's who they traded to the Braves for Jorge Soler, but I swear Canning was pitching for the Mets like 2 days ago.
I don't. Oh yeah, he's on the Mets.
So he's
definitely on the Mets.
How do you get from the Braves to the Mets this offseason?
I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Let us take a look. Because I was surprised he was even on the Mets when I looked the other day. Oh. He got traded to the Braves and then immediately elected free agency.
Oh.
So basically the Braves just gave up Soler for nothing.
Yeah. That's okay.
Nice.
Good move, Atlanta.
Nice. Very fun. I mean, not that Griffin Canning was going to make a big difference in their 0-8 start to the season or whatever.
No, exactly.
All right. Are the Mets for real? We kind of already touched on this.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't know.
There's a lot of factors here.
Like we know Soto's good. He's not playing good. When he does play good, they'll be good. That's really what it comes down to.
Really, I should have restructured some of these questions, but I guess we'll skip ahead a bit. How long will Soto survive as a star?
I think he'll survive a while. I mean, as I said, the defense is rough, but he'll eventually shift into that DH role. And I think he's still a very competent hitter. I think he could be a star all the way till he's Trout's age. Like he's one of those players where I think he can continue to hit. His hitting style is very sustainable. And I think when it comes down to it, he will age much more gracefully than many other ball players. As much as I dislike him right now, I still have to appreciate him.
Assuming that his age is correct, as a bunch of people are somehow trying to argue.
No, I think his age is correct. Yeah. I think it is.
JD Martinez. I've been seeing a lot of articles and stuff about him the last couple of days.
He's still been hitting.
He's been
hitting. He needs a shot.
Where do you think he can end up?
Call me crazy, Texas.
Who's DHing for them right now?
I don't know, if I'm being honest with you. If I did know, I maybe wouldn't have picked them. I just sent
let
someone
us,
away.
Let us take a look.
I
I actually not. Okay, DH
Burger.
Jock Peterson
Oh my, he's still in the league. That's great.
and Jonah Heim also because they have
Who's behind the plate?
Higashioka.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
we missed a
JD
lot.
Martinez to the Rangers confirmed. I would like to say I was correct on first guess.
Like that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, the Yankees complaining about needing a right-handed bat for the last 2 months and then not doing anything,
which is ridiculous to say because up until 2 years ago we were begging for a lefty.
I've been talking about this with a lot of people, and it's just like, what happened to us?
Just take a quick flip.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, okay. This was an interesting one, and of course, we've seen all the rumors about the rules that are going to be added. Golden bat, whatever that was. Salary cap addition for the beginning of 2026.
What I think is we don't need a salary cap. We need a salary floor. We need to set money at the bottom so that teams can't throw. Like Pittsburgh and Oakland actually need to try to win with their franchises. Because if you have to spend the money, you're not going to spend that much money on awful players. You're going to want to spend a lot of money on good players. But if you don't have to spend the money as an owner, why would you? Take in more revenue. Yeah. But now if you set a salary floor, say 200, and set a salary cap at, say, 400, that gives you a huge, range. Even 250 as a floor. Because that way you have a $150 million range. And at this point, it's like the small market teams, they're not even you can't even use small market as an excuse because the owners are just not trying to win. They're making money. They're not trying to put it into the ball club. That's what we're seeing in what the team formerly known as Oakland and, Pittsburgh and other places such as that. They're just Colorado. They just take in the money and they don't put it back into the team.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Chase?
I think a salary cap's... I think people thought baseball needed a salary cap for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Juan Soto getting $765 million. It doesn't matter who you are. Getting $765 million is just insane.
It's ridiculous.
So I think this is what people think baseball needed. I really like the idea of a salary floor. So
yeah, I think the floor is so much more important than the cap.
Oakland can finally take the bags off their heads and start competing.
Bingo.
But yeah, people wanted a salary cap. It's interesting, going to see how it goes. But yeah, this is going to be good for baseball.
I totally think so. Will it pass? Who knows? But I think it totally should. There's no reason why they shouldn't do it.
I think the interesting thing is you have the luxury tax and all that kind of stuff, and that's not going to stop anyone like the Dodgers or whoever from making those moves. So yeah, I think it's interesting. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. But that was kind of a nice segue. You mentioned the Pirates. Are they going to be sold soon?
Hopefully. either them or Seattle, I think will move, especially because Seattle, they're riding, the Julio high, and they actually have a very competitive team. I think it should be either Pittsburgh or Seattle. Would be my two picks to sell. Yeah, because we all know John Fisher's not selling the Athletics, despite how many people want him to.
Yeah, Rays in Tampa. What do we think about that? We saw Mike Trout hit the shortest home run of his career 2 days ago. We saw Zach Hampel almost get caught for fan interference again.
I mean, Steinbrenner Field's fun. I think the Rays I think they should have a stadium in Tampa. But I think that having them at Steinbrenner Field is fun, especially because, they actually cannot physically play at the Trop. Because the Trop is awful. It's built like a spinning top that you do during the holidays. But I think Steinbrenner Field looks like a legitimate stadium. It just looks a bit toned down because it's spring training. It's not. Exactly. They're not trying to go over the top on a spring training stadium they use for a month and a half compared to the regular stadium. But I think that depending on how much the fans of the Rays use this season, it could therefore push them towards the Tampa stadium but I think this is huge for the Rays fan base, quite honestly.
Well, we saw that they actually declined.
I know, but
approve
if this season is one of their best selling seasons, they might reopen it.
which somehow it looks like it might be with that low attendance, like cap at Steinbrenner. They're packing it every day, which is crazy.
Because the trop is awful.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
It's also the Steinbrenner's in Tampa.
Exactly. It's like, oh, hit the mic. Like, who wants to drive an hour to St. Petersburg?
You don't have to cross a 3 mile long bridge to get to
totally
the stadium anymore. So that's nice. The athletics facilities. We've seen some interesting things going on there. I don't know if you saw the press conference in the shed in left field.
I did not. I did see, however, the team store is like an alleyway. I did see that.
That makes sense. Basically, they set up their press room just in like an old mechanical shed in the corner.
This has to be illegal in some way, shape, or form.
The other thing is, one of the Cubs guys had to go, or maybe it's Cubs. I forget what team it was. Had to go to the bathroom during the game, so he had to walk all the way across the field in between innings and then walk all the way back.
Bro.
So,
welcome to Athletics Town.
3 more years of that, and then we'll be free.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, then we'll be free. Well, that is all of our conversation for today.
What a show.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Jack. That was awesome.
Totally. Totally.
I do hope we can have you on again at some point when Vince returns from who knows where.
Wherever Vince is.
And we'd love to kind of keep track of some of your predictions that you've made here over the next part of the season. But, we're going to be posting some clips on Instagram. We're going to be, if Vince can give me access to the TikTok, we'll post some stuff over there as well. It kind of all falls apart.
Bro doesn't have access to his own TikTok.
yeah, it kind of all falls apart when my co-host goes MIA.
No.
But, thank you so much for joining.
Of course, anytime.
And this was, I'm totally blanking on what number episode this is.
This is 60-something, I think you said.
It is episode
67?
66, I think.
Okay, close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
I thought it was 67.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to episode 66 of the Sports Coach Podcast. My name is Andrew alongside my co-host Chase. Thank you so much, Jack, for joining us. Again, we're going to link all of his stuff down in the description. You go check out both of our Instagrams for announcement posts and exclusive clips and stuff like that from all of our podcast episodes. And thank you everyone so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.